Good morning and welcome to this session. Thank you so much for taking the time out to attend the session, which lasts about 30 minutes. My name is Mike Collins and I'm Head of Community Development for DPG PLC, an award-winning trading provider specialising in CIPD qualifications and leadership and management solutions. Today's topic is developing the next generation of social leaders, and it's about bridging the gap. And I hope in the next 30 minutes we'll explore some of the reasons why I believe that we are bridging the gap, and why the use of social tools and technologies is absolutely critical for the leaders of today. Okay, bit of an introduction to myself. I've been affectionately known as a geek with pom-poms, and I'm intending to shake my pom-poms today. And my role, I've been with DPG since last year, and I've been creating an online community, a social platform to support our products and services. I specialise in online learning solutions, whether that's video, social, mobile phone, and I also do a lot of social media management. So technology geek is something that really does fit with me. What we're going to focus on today is we're going to do a little bit of a session on expectations, okay, and how expectations have changed for leaders. I'm going to take you through a leadership framework, competency framework. We're going to look at what actually makes up a framework and how you can embed that within an organisation. We're also going to do a bit on how do you actually manage and measure management competence. We're going to have a bit of a debate there around subjective or objective methods. And social media, like it, hate it, love it, it's here to stay. And how we use social tools and how we interpret social media in our jobs and how we do support our professional development is hugely important now and in the future. And how we're going to bridge the gap. How do we bridge the gap from today's leaders where perhaps social isn't important to the future where future generations absolutely insist that they can connect with their future leaders and leaders of today? So what's changed? Okay, I'm going to start it being a bit selfish, to be honest, and say that I've changed. My expectations of leaders have changed. I worked with a large corporate for 11 years. And in that time, I saw and came into contact with a whole host of different leaders. And unfortunately, they weren't the most open, transparent leaders that you would like to work with. This guy, Simon Sinek, I don't know whether you've ever seen the video, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. And this video, I'd recommend that you go and watch it after today, because it really kind of appealed to me in a sense of good leadership is about helping people that you lead understand why. Understand why you do something. And I believe that social tools can absolutely help you connect with people and help them answer the reason why I'm following you. Some things that I want from my leaders is I want leaders to be open. I want more authenticity. I want to believe in the people that I follow. I want to have more transparency. I want to know why people are making the decisions that they're making and understand the thought process behind it. I want the ability to ask questions. I want people to be more visible. It's no good if a manager or leader pops up once a week and shouts some instructions and then disappears. I want to be able to connect them. I want to be able to associate with my leaders. And finally, I think this is absolutely essential, that we need leaders who are human, whom you can connect with. And as human beings, we are all social. So what else has changed? Okay, so is there anybody who here doesn't agree that technology has changed? Okay, no hands flying up there, so we'll make an assumption that technology's changed. And one of the exercises that I love to run is a real eye-opener for people who kind of sit there going, no, I'm not going to change the way that I do things, technology's not changed, I'm going to keep doing what I've always done. I don't know whether you can see it very clearly, but this is a timeline for change. And up here you've got the 1850s, and there are a few kind of technological advancements, the blackboard, although that was a little while ago, all the way up to kind of the 1950s. And then all of a sudden you get a huge explosion in the last 10 years of technology-based tools and technologies that are creeping into our workplace and changing our very lives. And that's having a dramatic effect on the way that we're working. If you think about mobiles, if you think about the networked world, the world of connectivity. And I would say that the way in which we communicate has changed forever. There is no going back to one-way communication, and if that is the only way that you communicate, then that's something that you need to leave today and change. Okay, so I believe that we live in a fast-paced and ever-changing world. Don't think anyone would agree with that. But the question that I've got for you at the moment is, are our leaders responding to this change? So for me, change is definitely afoot. and there is a hashtag for poor jokes, or in this guy's case, change is a but. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so the question is, have the ability, so we live in a fast-paced and ever-changing world, but the question is, have the abilities, the behaviours and competencies of good leaders actually changed during this time? Any thoughts, initial impressions? Do you think the abilities, behaviours, competencies of leaders have changed? Or do you think being a good leader is still valid in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, so it is to today? Any nodding of heads? Do you think they have changed? No? So Doug's at the back saying no, that's the abilities, competencies and behaviours are still right back in the day to today. Oh, right, okay. Do you think they've changed? The people haven't, okay. So DPG worked with a leadership management framework called MAP 2.0. It was created in 1995 by Dr. Scott Parry, and he worked with big US organizations such as Kodak, Ford, Henley Group, and they came up and did a huge study of 5,000 managers in US organizations. And what they identified was key behaviors that successful managers and effective managers demonstrated on a regular basis, and they came up with the competency framework. So there's 4 clusters, 2 of which are focused on people, and 2 of which are focused on task. And for those of you who suffer from motion sickness, I'm making an apology up front. So the first one is building a team. Very important to be able to build a team. As a leader, you need to be able to think clearly. You need to be able to think analytically and make decisions. You need to be able to manage your job, so the transactional types of things that you need to be able to do your day-to-day job. And my favourite, I think, is relating to others. As a leader, you need to be able to relate to others. You need to be getting unbiased information. You need to be giving clear information and listening and organising. And of course, the tool set that we have at our disposal now is vastly different to the one that we had 10, 15 years ago. So I just want to explain for a couple of minutes how we break that down and how the framework actually works. So on each cluster, there are 3 areas in which we then break down to leading indicators. So I'm going to bring the relating to others cluster. And as you can see, the framework goes up from team leader, from team member, so what the behaviours and the expectations of a team member would be, all the way through to senior manager. And if you're using this within a performance management framework, then what you would be looking for is that people will be able to observe you doing these things within a work environment and give you specific examples of when you've done that and how you've done that. And there's just a couple of bits that I'd really like to pick out of this framework, and this is here. So designs communication strategies. So believe me, this is not an email campaign. This is not just about email or a static page on your intranet that has no two-way communication. Promotes communication that takes into account verbal and non-verbal messaging. Absolutely, you need to be able to promote different methods of communication in your organisation. Oh, bit quick off the off. And role modelling, hugely important. You need to be able to role model the use of these different communication channels that takes into account the communication preferences of different audiences. Okay, so if your audience and the people are changing, then as a leader, you need to change the way in which you are communicating, interpreting information, and connecting with people and getting your message out. Okay, so we're a CIPD provider. We do learning professional qualifications and HR professionals. So in effect, we are working with the future learning and development leaders and HR leaders within the UK. We have about 1,000 people going through our qualifications, so I feel personally responsible for ensuring that we are developing the leaders of the future. And whenever CIPD release a report or any research, we check it out very soon. And I wanted to share you this that was shared in May 2012 last year. And that was in May last year, 75% of organisations are reporting that there is a management and leadership skills gap. Okay, so 3 in 4 organisations are saying that our leaders and managers don't have the skills to do the job. Wow. I'm going to share something with you now that's it's quite shocking as well. And so if you sat down, fantastic. If you stood at the back, you might want to hold on to a chair because this is going to rock you. The same report said that too many managers actually have an inflated opinion about their own abilities. Can you believe that? And one of the reasons for this is that a lot of the ways that leaders are managed and you know, the performance management works is that it is highly subjective. Okay, it means that people have to give a subjective opinion on how you performed and what you've been doing. So coupled with the leadership framework, DPG have a management assessment tool, which is entirely objective. So it flicks the switch completely from subjective opinion-based to one that you can put your managers through, and it's completely objective, and it's called MAP 2.0. Just going to explain a little bit about how it works. So there are 13 unique video-based scenarios in which you watch and then you answer a number of questions based on what your decisions would be and how you would interact with each individual situation. It takes you through the life of a management team, and again, the ability to ask and reply to the questions. You can do it if you're in one sitting in under 3 hours, or you can save and kind of go back and do it at a time that's convenient for you. But what it gives you at the end of this report is it gives you a competency-based report that compares your scores to that of everybody else in the UK who have completed it. So it's a very powerful thing. It enables you to highlight exactly where your managers are doing well and where they need development, so you can really specify and target any development that your leaders and managers need. So the overall competency of this manager is 36%. Now that doesn't mean that they're 36% capable. What it means though, for everybody who has completed this report, they are better than 36 people who have completed it, yet 64% of managers who have completed it are actually better than them. And I mentioned about benchmarking and norm groups. We've got about 20,000 UK managers who have been through this tool. So what we're able to do is actually compare your scores and your manager's scores with that of UK norm groups, private sector, public sector, large companies, small, medium enterprises, and then first line manager, middle manager, and senior manager. So what you build up is a really unique and informative report of exactly where your managers are and where you need to focus. And there's just a few things here that you can use the MAP framework for. So recruitment and selection, developing managers, competency benchmark, succession planning, and talent management. So it's a very powerful tool. So these are two isolated tools at the moment. We've got the leadership framework and we've got the MAP assessment, and combined what you get is a really robust understanding of where your managers are relating to these competencies. But we get a lot of customers coming to us to say, well, we want a leadership management program. We want a bespoke program for our leaders. And because we're an accredited centre by the Institute of Leadership and Management, we offer level 2, level 5 and level 7 qualifications where we will come in-house or we'll work with you as a business to say, okay, so we need to focus on these particular areas for our leaders. We'll develop the course and we'll come into your organisation and help you deliver it and work with you around your management strategy, which is fine. Okay? However, it's very traditional in approach. Okay? At the moment or in the past, it has been workshop-based. So when I started working for DPG and the ideas that we had was how can we blend the delivery of these programs to give leaders something more than just a workshop approach. So they get the scores from the MAP assessment and they can see what they should be doing through the framework, and then when we do a leadership and management course, we just bring them into a classroom, we set them some work, they go away and disappear and do an assessment, complete it and then come back. Okay, so we want to do something different. And what's prompted this, and I don't know whether you've read it, if not I would highly recommend that you do, is the Towards Maturity Benchmark Report. Now, it's called Bridging the Gap, and 500 organisations went through it, and it's primarily based around learning technologies, but being a learning professional, one of the things that I see is that learning and development have a huge part to play in ensuring that if tools and technologies and social technologies are within the workplace, that we can use them to best effect. Okay, I'm just going to let you read that for 1 second, rather than me say it. Okay, so the report's been going for 6 years now. The first time I attended Learning Technologies was in 2008, and I was fresh into learning and development. I'd been in there for I think a year, qualified with DPG, funnily enough. And one of the things that I was aware of is this whole area of tools and technologies that can be used to support workplace practices that I wasn't even aware of. And I think over the last 4 years, what I've been able to do is to throw myself into it and to try different things and to try new things and to come up with formulas in which we can use different tools and strategies to support formal learning. And I think this is something that we need to recognise within our own workplaces as well. Here are some high-level stats from the Towards Maturity report that I think are important. So of the 500 organisations, 63% of these organisations are now allowing access to social media tools. However, only 29% of these are using in-house social media tools. So for the likes of Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and it primarily is LinkedIn that organisations allow, what organisations are doing is they're allowing access to third-party social media tools. However, it means that you can't get into the level of depth and detail due to security issues or due to data protection to really get inside what's happening within your organisation. So a very small number of organisations are actually using social tools in-house. Of the 29%, 68% of those organisations are using social tools to build networks. And this is where I think leaders have a huge role to play in taking advantage of the ability to connect and to be visible and ever present within a social network within an organisation. I keep saying the word social, and you know, so many times people kind of put their hand up and say, oh, you know, if you say social in our organisation, you'll get shut down. We don't want to work Facebook. And they're completely missing the point about what these tools allow you to do, which is about engagement and connection and about helping people understand messages and giving people a voice. So 54% for individuals are using this to communicate in real time, which is fantastic. You know, I think, who's got a mobile device on them now? Who's used their mobile device in the last 10 minutes? Okay, you should be listening to me. But no, we are we are always on the go. We are always mobile. We need instant communication. We need to have the skills and adaptation and flexibility to be able to deal with things when we're on the train, when we're walking around, when we're in meetings. We need to be ever present and ever responsive to things that are happening around us, which links back to the things why I want to see different things in my leaders around being visible, being present, you know, having a voice, being able to ask me what my opinion is and giving me the chance to respond as well. And then only half of this number, again, are using social tools to support professional development. So who here has got a Twitter account? Okay, would you say that that has, a nodding of heads will suffice here, but would you say that that tool has helped your professional development? Yeah, okay, fantastic. So one of the problems that we face, and I do apologise for the picture here, is around exposure. So what do I mean by exposure? So coming into an organisation that primarily dealt with face-to-face workshops and working for a large organisation for the last 4 or 5 years trying to push social technologies, is that people just do not understand how they can be used to support professional development and how they can support workplace collaboration, how they can support development within the workplace, how they can build relationships. People just do not understand it. They can't put 2 and 2 together and start to take that on board and start to replicate and then role model themselves. And it's back to that old thing, isn't it? You don't know what you don't know. So you could go through your career not knowing anything about social tools, and you'd probably do a pretty good job, and you might, you know, progress within your own organisation. But as times change and organisations get more aware of the power of these social tools, leaders need to be adapt and they need to understand and they need to be encouraging as to how they can help their business progress using social tools. And there is a huge wealth of social out there, whether it's video-based, social communities, whether it's blogs, whether it's Twitter, micro-blogging. And it's great that all these people are coming on learning development solutions, but what happens if they come in learning development solutions or they come in leadership and management programs and this stuff is completely ignored? So this is what I'm trying to change. This is what I am changing with the creation of the DPG online community, which is a social network that underpins everything that we do at DPG, from our CIPD qualifications to our ILM programs, to our Kirkpatrick programs, to our Ekman programs. And we're basically saying that we're an open organisation, and we're creating a community and supporting people get over that initial fear of social technologies. As a community manager, one of the things that I find very difficult is people first coming into this social tool and they've only ever used Facebook. They only ever use the tool Facebook for social interaction. And when I'm trying to say to them, and when I'm saying to them, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be writing blogs throughout your program. You're going to be asking for people's opinions. You're going to be sharing things on the network as you do them. This look of bewilderment and confusion appears on the face. It's like I'm asking them to do something completely foreign. However, a specific period of time, it is wonderful to start seeing the ability and the confidence and capability in using these tools, and they start to get it. And what do you think they want to do there? They want to go back in their own organisations and they want to create these tools and they want to have these tools to be able to use. So if you're thinking about the future of learning professionals, you're thinking about the future of HR, you're thinking about leaders and managers, using this online community, we're able to support all the activity with a really powerful social tool that they're supported in, and they get a safe environment in which they can use the social tools. And there it is. It's probably quite difficult to see. Okay. Internet's working, isn't it? Yeah. Just going to try and do something. What time is it? A bit off cuff. Probably. Hope it will work. Let's see if we can get onto it live. And I can just kind of show you a little bit more about what we've done here and how we're doing it. Is anybody currently working with kind of an online community or using an online community, social network within their business? Yeah? Fantastic. Okay, so one of the great things about having an online space and a community is straight away what I've been able to do is I've been able to share today's presentation with all the people on there. And after today's presentation, what I'll be doing is I'll be going back and visiting various groups and asking them what they thought about the presentation. Is there anything that they thought I could improve upon? Is there anything that they particularly liked or particularly violently disagreed with? So it's not just about this 30-minute session here. It's about continuing the discussions and continuing the conversations to develop thinking. It's about those connections. I was at a curation camp last night, which sounds very strange, but Ben Betts from Curator was talking about the ability of networks to connect people that spark ideas. And it's those sparking of ideas when people are brought together that create innovation. Whether that innovation is done in isolation or whether it's done and they can go back into their own organisations and make change. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about creating and having the confidence to go and make change. So as you can see, it's a... just see who's online. This is very dangerous, actually. So we've currently got 7 members online, and it averages between 10 and 20, and we have a lot more during the night. But what we're also able to do is use this tool to get people talking online. So even if they are doing learning and development programs, or they're doing HR programs, or whether they're on ILM qualifications, they can all come together and start talking about key themes. Now, this network's been going about 7 months, so I've been through quite a lot of change in terms of the fear factor and getting people into this space and overcoming the initial fear of even adding a profile picture. But over the last few months, it's been fantastic to see that people are starting to embrace it. People are starting to get the idea that they connect with nearly 1,000 professionals on this network, and so they're bringing ideas and things from their own organisation into this space. So we encourage people to use video and to post video and to add some context to the videos that they're posting. We've got a main discussion forum in which people can ask information about electric cigarettes and benchmarking for salaries. But what it enables people to do is it enables people to have a space in which they can come and connect with other professionals. And if they don't have that within their own organisations, then straight away, I don't know about you, but I'd be thinking, how powerful would it be to have this within our own organisation? So again, it's building the confidence, the capabilities and skills to be able to do this. We have private and public groups. So again, people can go into a private group if they're not comfortable with the things that they're saying, or we're working with an individual. The training journal award that we won last year was for our work with Empower. So we use the MAP 2 objective assessment and an ILM qualification, but then we also were able to support it with this social platform to keep conversations going, and Empower now are starting their work on another project with us. We encourage blogs. We encourage people to share what they're thinking and to share what they're working on at work. And it's a very powerful thing for people who have never blogged before to do their first blog. It's empowering for them. And one of the things that I've got to do as a community manager is to encourage that at all costs. Okay, so I believe, and people start with why. The reason why we're doing this is to bridge the gap of people who are in leadership positions, whether that's in learning and development, whether that's in HR, whether it is in a leadership role, but bridging the gap from all the formal qualifications that are out there and developing these problems with a really powerful social tool and encouraging and changing the behaviours that people need to display in order to be a leader in the 21st century. So just to summarise, and then if anyone's got any couple of questions, then we'll do that. So just to recap, so what we're talking about is that things have changed. However, some behaviours, abilities and competencies of leaders haven't changed. They're still the same now, but the way in which they can enact them and how technology enables you to go around your job has changed. We're talking about the dangers of subjective assessment and how most managers will actually say, hey, I'm brilliant, mate, I'm absolutely fantastic at my job. But in actual fact, the feedback that they get from their people is slightly different. So the way in which you can objectively assess your managers is hugely important. Talking about challenging tradition, talking about traditional as a training provider, we're challenging the way and expectations of people who work with us to say, you're not just going to get a face-to-face workshop, what you're going to get is a really powerful blended program in which you'll be exposed to and you'll be asked to use a lot of different social tools and technologies. We help people understand that word social media. By itself, it has so many connotations and some negative in a lot of cases, but we take that away and we demonstrate the what's in it for me and the value piece. How does it add value to me in my role? And finally, I think this is about bridging the gap. This is about generating the next generation of leaders who are adept at social, who are at one with social and can really harness the power of social within their organisations and for their own professional development. And that's me. Thank you very much. We do have a couple of minutes, so I'm going to open it up to if anyone's got any questions or thoughts. Young, good-looking chap there at the back. Do you want the mic?
Sorry. I was just wondering, as a community manager, what are some of the biggest challenges you face in terms of overcoming? What are some of the biggest challenges you face as a community manager?
So I probably should have just shouted, shouldn't I?
Biggest challenges are helping people make the connections themselves. So it's not being about too forceful and saying you must do this. It's about providing people the time and space to find those connections and that value piece for themselves. And that's what's quite hard about community management, and then bringing in all the things that we've talked about today is that they come into this space and there's such a lot of information to deal with. I think one of the key skills is around filtering and making sure that people can find that info. Okay, so I think kind of being waved at that time's up. One of the things that I just wanted to let you know about is that over on stand 241, which is the DPG stand, if you want to just look over there, that we've got some free MAP competency frameworks that we're giving out today. We've also got the MAP 2 assessment free trial, so if you want to have a look at an objective assessment and actually have a look at your own management skills, and you can do that. And the team are over there if you want to come and have a chat with us at any time today. Okay, thank you very much.